Okay, welcome to the Flux Dev Meeting. It's August 13th.
Hi everyone. So today we are going to discuss an RFC that Adrian proposed around adding OpenTelemetry to Flux through Flux notification. And I've been also Mateus. And Mateus will be reviewing the RFC itself and the proof of concept implementation in notification controller. Adrian, do you have any any to-dos for the proof of concept, or this should be enough?
Yeah, I can. There is one, perhaps. Well, aside of documentation and so on, just to have something tangible write down. But I've been testing a little bit what we've been discussing over these weeks, and I found some issues. For example, with regards of the for example, the Helm repository flow. We already talked about it. Like, be able to have a Helm repo as source, then most likely we are going to have a Helm chart in the middle, and then a Helm release. So the problem there is it's difficult to trace unless if you, let's say, get information of that specific object, of that specific Helm release or Helm chart. It's very difficult to trace because the revision ID that you might get from the Helm repo corresponds to the checksum, like the algorithm and then the checksum. But in the Helm chart as well as the Helm release, it corresponds to the version, the application version of the chart version. So unless there's some kind of implementation, or I just by using the Q client query the class in order to retrieve more information, get more information, is it's difficult to trace that back.
Yeah, I was writing a comment exactly about this. Like, we can't have Helm repository as a source. A Helm repository is not a source for anything. The Helm repository is a pointer to an index of sources. The Helm chart is the source.
Okay. Okay, yeah, in that case, yeah, I'm able to, let's say, have under the same trace, even the multiple spans, I'm able to have the Helm chart and the Helm releases. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah. Then I'm wondering, the same will apply with the OCR repository then as well.
No,
because it points to.
Okay. Where is the comment here? So I have this function is source of kind string, and the sources here should be git repo, OCI repository, Helm chart, and bucket.
Okay.
Now for the Helm release case, when the revision is a version number, that can only happen when you have Helm chart or OCI repository as source.
Yes.
Right? So no matter, Helm repositories have nothing to do with sources. They are an index of sources from which they are used to automate Helm chart upgrades. That's their only means. Like, in a Helm release, in a Helm chart specification, you can give it a sample expression in the version field. You can say 2.x. So you don't actually define the desired state does not specify a particular version. It tells Flux, find whatever version is next and perform an upgrade for me, right? In order for Flux to find what is the latest version of a Helm chart, it looks up the index YAML, which is fetched by the Helm repository reconcile. So it's more like a lookup. When you have an OCI repository as a source of your Helm release, you can do the same stuff. You can say OCI repository ref semver 2.x. But when you use a OCI repository, the major advantage is you don't no longer need this index YAML because the versions are the tags. So Flux goes directly to the container registry, does a list tag, then orders the tag by semver and picks the latest that matches your semver expression. Conceptually, these two things are identical. It's unfortunate that the Helm release has this monolithical index YAML with all the versions ever stored in there and so on. So you need to download it to find out which is the latest version. There is no API call because there is no Helm server, Helm chart server per se. It does not have an API. It only has a file, right? But conceptually, these things are the same. That doesn't mean the Helm repository, that index YAML, is a source for the Helm release. The only source that a Helm release can have is a chart, right? And the chart can be either fetched by an OCI repository object. That OCI repository object in the revision will match the semver, the version of the chart, and it will also match the revision that the Helm the Helm release sends to notification control. So you can use this for the span. Now, when you have a Helm chart as a source through a Helm release, whatever that goes through a Helm repository, doesn't matter. It's the same stuff. The Helm chart will advertise a revision, and that revision will match the event that the Helm controller sends for the Helm release. So in your span, you'll either have OCI repo or Helm chart, and then you'll see the Helm release. Now, there is a third case where you can have a chart stored in a Git repo. And people are using this for dev clusters, where they don't want to publish the chart to a container registry and use an OCI repo. They want to test the chart with the chart source code being in a Git repo. Now, when you use a Helm release with the source Git repository, what happens in the backend, we basically create a Helm chart from it. And the Helm chart will have a revision. That revision will match the Helm release revision. Right? So if you filter the kinds for Helm, and you filter it by Helm chart and OCI repo, that's enough, because there'll always be one of those two objects that are actually providing the source. So I think my suggestion to your pull request will kind of resolve this by replacing Helm repository. This is what you've missed here, is that the Helm chart is actually the source of a Helm release and not the Helm repository. So if you do this kind of change, then you test it with a Helm chart object, you should see, the span should show Helm chart version 2.0.0, then Helm release upgraded to 2.0.0.
Okay. Yeah, we'll give it a try.
And
Yeah.
for customizations, they will never have a Helm chart as a source,
Mhm.
but they will have one of these three: Git repo, CI repo, or bucket, right? And I'm guessing you tested it for customization and Git repository, and that should be straightforward. It should always work. It doesn't matter if it's OCI repository or Git repository, it's the same stuff, or
Mhm.
bucket. The revision will always match.
Mhm.
The only trick here is with Helm, which is more complicated as a machinery
Mhm.
due to the Helm chart stuff.
Yeah.
So as a
Oh,
follow-up on this pull request, I would like you to test Git repo, a Git repo with two customizations coming from the same repo, and we should
mhm.
see one trace with three components. One will be from the Git repo and two for the two Flux customizations that are reconciling from the repo.
Mhm.
Do you know how to do this? I guess.
Yeah. It's going to be a matter to just, as we have the same Git repository, we are going to have the same trace. Well, the same, the same trace ID. So all the Git repository as well as the customization will go under the same trace that will create three spans, like one for the Git repository and two customization. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can have a Git repo with two directories.
Mhm.
One directory has, let's say, a config map, some name. Another directory has a different config map, different name.
Mhm.
Then you create a Git repo that points to that repo. Then you create two Flux customizations with the source, the repo, and the path 1, path 2, right?
Okay.
Then
Yeah.
when Flux reconciles these three objects, we should see a single root span with three things in there, Git and two customizations. And please do this test based on your pull request notification controller and post there a print screen with this to make sure
Okay.
that, because reading the code, I can't figure out if it will actually do what
I
it's
know.
supposed to do, right? And
Understand.
another example that we should test, an OCI repository with a Helm release. You have
Mhm.
podinfo that has this.
Mhm.
Also, a Helm repository with, you declare a Helm chart from that Helm repository,
Mhm.
or you set up the Helm release to use the Helm repository. Podinfo also has this, and we should see Helm chart, Helm repository in the span, not Helm chart, Helm release in the span, no Helm repository at all.
Okay. Just Helm and Helm release. So
Yes.
just to recap a little bit on that. So imagine that the notification controller captures or receives a notification from a Helm repo. It should skip it or
For hotel, yeah,
rotor,
it's it's not relevant for traces at all, because as I said, it's not an actual source, it's an index of sources. It will always be a single span on its own because it's nothing relates to it. It just pulls a huge file that can have many charts for many apps. Like if you think of Bitnami or something like that, right? Or I don't know, the Tanzu catalog or whatever is there.
Yeah.
So
What it does, it downloads an index YAML that contains everything, all the
Yeah.
charts. You may use only one from all that file. So when it downloads it, it doesn't really matter from what we are trying to capture here. What is the composition of the cluster, right? We are trying to trace here the reconciliation of workloads in the cluster. A Helm repository has no relationship to that. It's just an index.
So I have a question. So if the Helm repository is in the works still, if they are using index.yaml, and it is big and slow, how does this affect the ability of OTel to complete the picture? Since we will have something that's big and slow and not being measured, and it is technically in the critical path, even if it's
What do
not.
you mean? You
Um,
are
Well, the initial event that triggers the downstream, if you want to measure from push to deploy, the push starts when the Helm repository receives its new index.yaml and gets reconciled, right?
No, no. The receiver, so the s- the push start when the Helm chart reconciler reconciles,
So the
and
the
that
repository reconciles the Helm. I'm sorry. The Helm repository reconciles. The Helm release reconciles in response to that, though, right? If it has a Helm repository named as the source, if
no,
there's a new, it doesn't.
no. Helm
The-
release reacts only to Helm chart events. So
Yeah.
Helm release, when you set it, oh, my source is a Helm repo, what it does, it generates a Helm chart for you. And the Helm chart listens to Helm repository events, not the Helm release,
Oh, okay.
right? Now you set an interval for the Helm chart. The Helm chart, what it does, the reconciler at that interval, searches in index YAML to find the new version.
All right. I'm just thinking if I'm trying to measure with the trace the entire lifetime of the event, and the event starts with me pushing to the Helm repository, where the only footprint is an update to index.yaml until that new Helm chart is generated. It is part of the timeline, even if it wouldn't be represented the way we're describing. So if your goal with OTel is to see where is the slow thing, and the Helm repository event doesn't even show up in OTel, that seems like a slight problem, at least.
It can't show up because there is no link to it.
Hmm.
It's not linked in any way to a release. It's just an index. I mean, if you want to see it, you should just look at the single span that the Helm repo creates when it reconciles. And that's it. Because there is no relationship, direct relationship between the
Okay.
objects. There is nothing to link them.
Okay, so it does still
From.
create a span. Okay. That solves my issue.
It should create a span. It's a reconciler. It reconciles something, right? We just don't include it in the logic of sources for Helm releases because it's not a source of a Helm release. The Helm chart is.
Okay, understood. Makes sense.
Yeah, for that question, like when you set up an interval on the Helm repository, it's just the interval to fetch the new index.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so it's a completely, I mean, the lifecycle management is completely independent. Yeah. Okay.
Right, it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it.
That's also what makes it so hard to deal with
Yeah, repos.
Helm
Yeah.
repos, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, in Helm v4, people move completely to OCI and we don't have to deal
Oh, yeah.
with this stuff anymore.
Yeah, I don't like them either. Yeah. It's difficult also. The index will get enormous. We struggle with that by having huge repos that we have to even configure the source controller just to be able to to retrieve or to store the whole index. Yeah.
Yeah, you should enable caching for Helm indexes. So we have in source controller some flags. So source controller will cache the index, but still you need a ton of memory for nothing. If you store them in the container registry, they need to use, I don't know, 10 kilo of memory versus hundreds of megabytes of memory because it needs to parse YAML to JSON, then iterate through all this huge YAML to find one chart that you may be using there. It's like so much work for basically nothing. But we have to work with the design of Helm, and it's nothing we can do about it. But to tell people, hey, if you are doing Helm charts in your organization, you should be using a registry for it.
There's one
Container
place,
registry.
there's one place the Helm repository fits really well, and this anti-pattern doesn't really harm you at all. In Cozy Stack, we have the Helm repository as the unit of platform distribution. Since all of the charts in the platform have the same version all the time, they'll all be updated at the same time. This saves us from using a giant umbrella chart, which would be even worse. To deploy the entire works, we can have 20, 30, 40 charts all versioned together. They all get rolled out and deployed at the same time. And the only ones that have independent versions are the user add-ons, the user apps that they install on demand. The things that come with every installation all get updated with a cadence. So it works really
But
well for that.
makes zero sense to have a Helm repository for that. You should keep it as a
It's actually how
OCI artifact.
we don't have to have any OCI server at all. We can just have an HTTP server, and the whole thing is distributed as one deployment.
Yeah, exactly. Instead, you
installer.
should be using the registry which is already there because you can't distribute only charts. You need the containers as well.
It's a bare metal cluster. There's no registry that's already there.
So how is Flux even running if there is no registry?
We stand up a HTTP server that serves up the initial Helm charts, and the platform gets installed from there, and updates replace that deployment with a brand new bundle of charts. So if you have a bundle of charts and they're all versioned together, it makes more sense than an umbrella chart, which would be even more poorly performing.
No, I'm asking where are the containers?
The oh, those are on your external registry. Or yeah, you do have to have a registry. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
There's air gap instructions, and you can copy everything from the outside world into your internal registry. So that is an option, but
I mean, instead of a HTTP server, you'll be way better if you just deploy a lightweight container registry that can also have all the images for really good air gap deployment. And I'll tell people to copy things on their own. Like there is no reason in them to ship a unsafe HTTP server that has no MTLS, no nothing, to serve some charts, which can be stored next to the container images.
well,
I mean,
there's a SHA-256 manifest on every reference, so
okay.
security is not something I'm terribly worried about there. But
I mean, you could do without an HTTP server because you still need a container registry. Like charts don't have container images inside, right? So you still have two sources every time, the HTTP one and the container registry. While you can say, for example, Cozy Stack would have their own GCR instance and push all the versions there. And when you bootstrap the cluster, it will just go to their official registry instead of spinning up a HTTP server just for getting some charts, right?
well, it's not only for getting some charts, it also gets the leader lock, so we're sure there's only one installer running at any given time.
And that's linked to the Helm.
At the very root, the thing that does Helm install to get Flux installed at the beginning. That's it also has to run things in the right order so that Cilium gets installed, so that Flux can talk to Flux. And so there's a bash script at the root of all of this that runs Helm install at least once per upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, Kubernetes has its own API for locking. What to use in Flux? You don't need.
It's the leader election, and it's a bash script that calls the Kubernetes leader election, and it's great. Just
Cool. So you don't
all at
use
once.
the HTTP server to do leader election,
Right.
where the charts are. Okay.
Yeah, the HTTP server could go. It could get replaced with an OCI repository.
Yeah, that was my point. Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's go back to the hotel stuff.
Yeah.
So,
well, over the discussion, I have another doubt. I know that you are, let's say, you are not recommending this, but we still, or the Helm report does still allow to have this OCI type. We should I be worried about it, or it's not
so
even
when OCI repository has a type, when Helm repository has type OCI, it will
It's the
never
same.
reconcile.
Ah,
It
okay.
will never reconcile. It's just a fake object. Does nothing.
Ah, okay. And what it does, it pulls the chart and creates a Helm chart, I imagine, or
The Helm chart switches to behaves like an OCI repo.
okay.
The Helm repository does anything. It's not. It's just a holder for the secret ref. That's it.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You should
That's
never use
interesting.
that. Like it's
In fact, we do, but we are trying to move towards OCI all around. But
this this predates the OCI repo API.
Mhm.
It's a historical luggage. I would delete it tomorrow, but it's GA, so I can't. Who knows? Look, Mateus wants to delete it. He'll be the first one to wipe that
Ham repo and
OCI
ham
flag.
chart. Goodbye. We only need OCI repo.
Yeah.
Um,
Who knows? If Helm 5 will drop Helm repositories, then we are going to delete it. Who knows? Hopefully, in 2 or 3 years, we can press the delete button.
And well, about the use cases, I wrote down 3. Should I add an extra one for this Git repository Helm chart Helm release, just to have another one?
Yes, so in the RFC, we need to address Git repo customization, OCI repo Helm release, Helm
Yeah.
chart Helm release. These
Okay,
3,
these 3. Okay.
right? For
Yeah,
the
that's
customization one, you can say, oh, instead of a Git repo, of course, we can use bucket or OCI repository. It behaves the same. But for Helm, I think it's based on also on this discussion is good to,
Yes.
write down Helm chart, Helm repository, Helm release, OCI repository, Helm release as different examples.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have my notes here. So yeah, these 3. One thing. Okay. By testing this, one thing that I noticed is like under under a trace you can have tags, but you can also append events. So I thought that it would be better if we can just add tags for the involved object, just to have a reference about what that span refers in terms of which object from which object comes from, and also at events for all the events that you might get from reconcile, from reconciliation. For example, reconcile creates the following objects, then the reconciliation finishes. I have everything under the same span, but with multiple events. That would be ideal, but I'm struggling a bit with how to be able to match the span IDs, because the span IDs are expected that needs to be there already, and you can refer that in order to point to a parent span. But it's not as easy if I need to force, let's say, the span ID and try to create this parent logic. It doesn't work really well. Yeah.
I think it would be cool if we can capture only the reconciler events. Yeah, but it can be more than one. What's important in the body of the event that people, for example, use on Slack, Microsoft Teams, and so on, is that when something fails, the actual error message is captured in the event body. Right? Let's say customization deploys a standard, let's say Kubernetes ingress, and you are reusing the DNS name of another ingress. The validation will fail. The Flux customization will be marked as ready false. And in the event you receive, it will say fail to apply ingress, and you'll actually see the error. denied due to duplicate DNS or whatever, right? So
Mhm.
that kind of information, when you see it on Slack, you know exactly what the problem is, and you go and fix it. Oh, damn, I've set the same DNS, the same host name and as the other app when I did I don't know, copy paste,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Stuff like that. But on the other hand, attaching all these events by default to the spans may create a huge load on the hotel backend. Maybe
Yeah.
not all people will want all the events, which can be quite, for example, if there are people that are applying 100K Kubernetes resources with a single Flux customization, the
Yeah.
event body will have 100,000 lines in the body saying deployment succeeded, deployment configured, this deployment, whatever, modified, and so on, right?
Yeah.
So you can have up to 1 MB of data in the event, which
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
bring down your hotel backend.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't think we should attach these events by default. Maybe if we figure out how to attach them later on, we can have a setting in the provider, attach
Yeah.
events true or whatever, something like
Or,
that. I don't know.
I mean, perhaps we can just thinking, parse the message, the body, and just create, well, but that will create an extra workload in the provider itself. Like trying to parse it and trying to send different events and just be able to restrict the body. Then, okay, you are applying 100 resources to make it 100 events. But in that case, it's not going to, yeah, perhaps jeopardize your,
Yeah.
your auto
It's
backend.
hard. It's hard to decide the right compactation
Yeah.
scheme that will work for everybody. Some people will want all the events. Some people will want no events, only the trace, and
Yeah.
if it failed or not. So I'm not sure. I think now for the first iteration, we should go without attaching the actual event body to the traces and leave
Mhm.
this for next iteration. Also see how people are using it and what's their feedback. If they
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
asking
That's a
for
good point.
these events and so on.
Yeah, it's a matter of adding just a new attribute. It shouldn't be much. Yeah.
Mm. Now, what tags are we using? Do we tag if it's failed or not?
Yeah, yeah. It checks if the severity of the event, if it's, I think is, I don't know if it's ready or okay. It will send the trace all the span as okay. If anything else, it will be treated as an error. Yeah, it's based on the severity that you get from the event.
Cool. Okay, we label severities and we show errors. And do we show the whole object ID like we do for everything else?
Yeah, yeah. You mean the involved object, right, in the event?
And the namespace.
Yeah, yeah. It adds the UID, the name, and the namespace. These are the tags. And the yeah.
Hear me out. So people don't use Flux on a single cluster. I guess you know that,
Yeah, yeah.
right? People use it on dev, on staging, on production. How are you going to know? You look at the trace and you see, oh, whatever app one failed.
Yeah.
Is it production or dev or staging? You don't know. Right?
Well, you can guess it by the UID. If you check the thing is that you might have to go over your clusters and check the UID for that specific customization.
Yeah. We already
have to
solved
try.
that in Flux. We already solved this. So in the metadata, people
Yeah.
can add metadata to the Flux events, and everybody does it.
Ah, okay,
And
okay. In that case, it will get populated because it gets all the metadata and adds that as well. Whatever
so,
it is. Yeah,
okay, so if I have custom metadata, it will add it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so in the test you'll be doing, please add this. Let me find the documentation. 1 second.
Let me double check because I don't know if I added that as a part of the event or as a part of the task in the span, but it's there. I'm 100% sure that it's there.
There, it's probably that, right, Stu? Center.
Yeah, it's part
Yes.
of the events, but I can move it out and add it as part of the tags in the span.
So in your example, when you test
Mhm.
this out and you put the print screen, I pasted the link here.
Mhm.
Please add in your alert this event metadata that contains, we have an example there, environment, cluster, region, right?
Mhm.
So use this example and we should see production, my cluster, US East 1, how it shows in Yager or whatever you are using, right? To make
Mhm.
sure these things get displayed in a way that people can read them.
Mhm.
Because everybody does it. I mean, if you have more than one cluster, and you definitely do, you really want to know, you want to label all your events, all your logs, everything with the cluster, region, environment, whatever. And we
Mhm.
have this feature in notification controller, and people rely on it a lot, right? So on this first iteration, we need to make sure that this custom metadata shows up because it's very important. I mean,
Okay.
of course, some people use Yager for production and then one for development, and you have different URLs and whatever. But there are those that are using cloud vendors, everything gets stored in a single thing, right? And for
Okay.
them, it's very important to propagate this metadata and be able to search. Can you search for a label, filter spans for, let's say, env production error? Can you do that in
Yeah, you
Yager?
should. Yeah, I think you should. Yeah.
So this is what I expect people to do. Like if you are on call and if you use traces for debugging, you'll want to filter for your production clusters and not look at all the mess that's in development. For example, maybe in development, there are hundreds of things failing. That is noise basically during on call, right? So you want to filter by env production.
Okay.
So if we propagate these, they should show up as, I don't know, labels or however you think is best. But the idea is that people will definitely want to filter and search by the values of these labels, right? The env is a label, the value is production, right? So I should be able to filter, show me all the traces with env equal production and alert severity equal error.
Okay. Absolutely. I will add this. I thought that you were talking about the labels that you can add in a Helm repository source, that I guess that we may want to populate them as well. But yeah, about this
No,
metadata, I can add it. Well,
those are populated automatically. So that's the second link, the first link that Mateus
okay.
showed. For example, in a Helm release, you have these special annotations that are event.toolkit fluxcd.io, where you can add all the metadata that you want in your alerts events.
Ah, okay.
And these annotations are propagated on the event, and you in your code in the provider code there where you implemented your notifier. This gets merged with the metadata from the alert, and they are all bundled together in the metadata struct.
Oh, Okay, that's good. That's great. Yeah, well, I will. It should be pretty easy to add. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, because what was the logic behind it? In your alert, you'll set, let's say, environment, production, cluster name, and region, because these labels are common to every alert that comes out of your system for that particular cluster. But maybe you want also a label, for example, called team, and the name of the team, which is responsible for a particular app. That does not sit well in an alert. That should go on a Helm release annotation, because maybe you have Helm releases from different teams all deployed in a single namespace, and you want to separate them. You want to search for, I don't know, see the traces only belonging to apps that are managed by dev team 1 or whatever, right? So you'll add the annotation on the Helm release for the team and on the alert only for the cluster information, right? But they get merged together always in your notification controller. So they are presented to you in the implementation here, where you have, so in your hotel notifier, parse. Yeah, so here when you have, yeah, there are send you cast them here with you do a cast value alert metadata context key, you cast it from meta one object meta. What is this cast doing? Why are you doing this cast here? Alert context value from meta.
Where exactly?
Let me share my screen. Right, so you have here post. Even here, event has a dot metadata that contains all the things that I told you.
Yeah.
But here you do this stuff. Alert.
This is the metadata from the alert object.
Oh, to get the unique ID?
Exactly.
Okay. Because I've seen these fails in the test. I mean, the tests are failing. You haven't run the test locally? Hotel tests are failing in CI. And I've
Okay.
seen
No,
these.
I haven't run that because I was reshuffling a little bit the code. Yeah. But yeah, I can check that. I think it was working, but the test that I performed, but I didn't run the auto test. Yeah, this is just to get the alert UID, name, and namespace.
Okay. And then you have a span involved name.
By the way, I had a comment on that, right? Adrian. So can you make that key, that context key private and expose getter and setter for the other package to set?
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. The comment that you mentioned, it was because I cannot, because it doesn't get exported if it's lowercase. But
Yeah, that's exactly why. Yeah, that's exactly why I suggested to make it lowercase, to make it unexported, and then what you export are the functions to wrap the use of that, because it's not particularly important for setting the value, but it's important for getting it, because when you get it, it's an interface, right? It's the any type.
Yeah.
So, and you only get it on the same package, so it's not so important, but it's better if we do like that.
Okay. Yep.
So I don't see here anything that
about events. It's about
that's
these
the
add events.
metadata.
About the add events. The add events. I will move it out. If you scroll
Git
down,
span is source.
yeah,
Oh,
here.
add event. Okay, attribute key, severity. So this message can have 1 megabyte of data.
Yeah, I can.
This is
Yeah,
very dangerous. Don't do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll comment it out. Yeah, and
Right.
here's where
Okay. Add metadata as events attributes. Events attributes. Attribute.
yeah, it's a key value pair. What I
Okay.
was thinking is instead of being an event under the span, I can add it as a span tag. Could be added as well.
Yeah. So basically this one, env production, and this one, summary, whatever, deployment ID, whatever,
Yeah, it should be
will
visible.
end up here as key value. Oh, great. So we preserve both the key and the value, because that's another concern. We need to preserve both of them, right?
Yeah.
For good filtering. Because you
Yeah.
want to filter env production or team one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Do you want
Okay,
any
so here,
convention? Do you want any convention there? I don't know, metadata dot key name or something like that, or just with the key name should be enough?
on the alert that we sent to Slack and everything, this is part of the attributes of a message. So they just render as key value pairs there. Now the only concern here is that are these attributes, can this be injected by the
I mean,
hotel backend? Can hotel backend send also environment? And then we are going to have a conflict because we use env here.
no, I guess by hotel, no, because they are really specific key names. Like you tend to use hotel dot whatsoever.
Okay, perfect. So we
Yeah.
don't overlap. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think we should add any prefix to make it, because people here, right, they can define here what they want. This can have something / env production, right? So
Yeah,
I think we should let the end user decide if they want to have a prefix or not, and not add a hard-coded one, because it's all this custom metadata, it's in the power of the user, right? So
yeah.
I would not change it. I'll let them decide how to structure the metadata. It's the same as you do with labels and annotation in Kubernetes, right? It's not.
Yeah.
Kubernetes does not add any prefix to it. It's up to you.
Yeah, and also this is something that we can manage by documentation. Like for example, if we add something, for example, it's populating severity. So if you, by some mistake, add in the metadata severity key, I guess it will get overridden. But if we state that this severity gets populated, the user can change it to whatever.
Oh yeah, we already have documentation for that. We say that this type of metadata takes priority and overrides any custom thing that the user has. This is already in doc. So if someone here says severity blah blah, that severity will always be overwritten by our own, and it's documented here. When you set the labels, I think that's fine. So right now we take all the meta. So this is something you have to get rid of, right? And now we add the event. And why is the reason added here?
It's as the name. It's the event name. It's under the span already with all the tags, meaning the object UID, the kind, the name, and the namespace. Then this is what is added as an span tag. And then under the event, we are going to handle the severity. And to name the event, what I decided is to have the reason as the name. I think it's the best way to know what the event.
Because they are very short and controlled by us. It can't be something 1 megabyte long. Okay, makes sense to have the reason here, right? Because it's failed reconcile successfully. reconcile failed or upgrade failed, installed success. These are Flux built-in reasons. They are very short.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we add all the attributes that have the severity and everything that the user defines as custom stuff. And then we have the timestamp from the event. Yeah, looks okay. Right, so please test out with custom metadata, both on the objects and in the alert. And let's see
Okay.
how they look. Bear in mind that because it's an annotation as the limit, right? So here this is an annotation, right? And this string, we need to check it. It can be very, very long, but still not megabytes of data. Because it's a Kubernetes annotation. So we have a little bit of, control here. I don't think we need to trim it in hotel because you can't add here like thousands of things. So that should give you some protection for the value here that shouldn't be crazy long to mess up with Jaeger. I'm guessing Jaeger, for example, index all these attributes, right? In the database in Bolt.
Yeah.
So the more they are, the harder it will be for the database. Cool. Okay. So here I also made the comment you should set the version correctly. We are not going to implement this in V1 Beta 1. This will go into provider Beta 3. We don't not going to do this backwards. And most importantly, here is provider hotel. So we are not going to have provider types per custom backend. We don't care about the backend. It can be whatever. You just say I want to be talking hotel to whatever backend is there. Now,
if it's
and
hotel.
they all support it, right? Like I'm assuming that Jaeger supports.
Yeah.
there are many Datadog, Grafana. There are hundreds of databases now compatible with hotel. Another thing that I was looking here, I'm not sure about it. Do we set MTLS here?
Yes.
Okay,
TLS config.
nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
because at the end of the day, this is the generic post, right? That you're using that we have. Like it's post. Like you scroll down, please, Stefan.
Yeah, it's the generic post method that you have. Yeah, function.
Yeah, a bit more.
But you mean to send out the trace or
search for
wait.
post message there. Search for post message. Post message.
I think post message is in the forwarder, could be.
I swear I saw.
No, that was a mistake. That was modifying the folder. No, this is fine. What I realized? So this is copy paste from what? From the generic one. Oh, wait a second. This is not good.
Yeah, because we have a generic post logic that we using many providers.
Yeah.
I mean, I was using the one that
called post message.
Okay. I just use the one that comes with the hotel SDK.
Oh, that's better, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But hear me out. All the things have this stuff that you don't have.
Yeah, that's
like this will destroy hotel. If you don't have skip git commit status, is bad.
Okay.
You
okay, I
really
will
need
add
to
that
skip
right
this.
away. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what this does, it continuously pings the backend for every dry run.
Mhm.
and you
You know
don't
what?
want to create spans for dragons.
I'm gonna improve this because this if is supposed to be in most providers. We have like 6 commit status providers, and they are like the minority, not the majority. So we should make we should make this interface expose if it's interested in these kind of events or not, instead of
Mhm.
copying this over and over. But you don't have to worry about that in your PR. But
Okay.
yeah, we need to fix, like, we need to solve this without this copy paste every new.
Right. This is not about, I mean, in this PR, it should be copy pasted, and then we
Yeah, yeah,
decide how to refactor it. But you really need to add
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I just added it. Yeah, once I
Yeah.
push my changes, will be there.
Cool. Yeah, because this will like mess up everything if it's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah, glad I see it. Okay. Okay, so I think we are very close to deliver this. So next steps. Please prioritize the RFC because we need to merge this first.
Okay.
After we merge it, we can add this to the roadmap, and then you can work with the notification controller code, get the tests working, and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
But if you can, as fast as possible, go over the RFC, add the use cases we've talked today about,
Mhm.
the 3 use cases. Then me and Mateus will do a final review of the RFC. We are going to ping other maintainers to look over it. Then by the end of this month, we have to have it approved and merged.
Okay.
And then in parallel work on the notification controller stuff. But in order to add it to the Flux 2.7 roadmap, we can't add it unless the RFC is merged
Okay.
into main, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Assign the number, everything.
Mhm.
So top priority to make this happen in 2.7 is first get the RFC in shape. And
2.7 is gonna be the coolest release ever.
it has too many things, man. I'm already scared.
We'll be
It's like,
shipping at least 5 patch releases.
yeah, there are major features going there. After 2.7, I'm going on vacation, and you are going to be on call a whole month, 24 hours. You and Kingdom.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Everything will go fine.
Oh, Kingdom is already ready to answer all the questions.
Sure, they're going to teach me how to use it.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah, I
join
think
those lessons because I want to use that too.
cool. Okay, yeah. We need to figure out how to set up Jaeger in a test cluster and run it ourselves once the RFC is done. Is it complicated, Adrian? Can it work with a simple Flux Helm release, deploys Jaeger, and that's it? Or
Yeah, in fact, they have an operator to install Jagger, so it's pretty easy.
Oh,
You
nice.
install the OpenTelemetry collector, and then you can deploy Jagger. I mean, you can attach a database or whatsoever, but there is a setting that you can have it in memory. So for CI/CD, it should be good enough.
Yeah, I don't care about persistence. I just care about how complicated it is for us to replicate the whole thing. Like, I
No,
want to create a kind cluster, deploy Flux on there with the operator, then have a Helm release that installs the Jaeger operator, that have then a custom resource that tells the operator how to configure Jaeger with the in-memory stuff, and then being able to create a provider type hotel and being able for us to test it. Maybe you can, if you've already done that,
What's the name of the
Maybe-
operator to search?
Open telemetry collector.
There is the operator.
Yeah.
Collector.
In fact, there is. Let me see if I can find it. Take a mistake here.
And does
Oper-
it has
There's
does it have
operator
the
charge.
UI and everything?
Yeah, Jaeger would have the UI.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
UI.
This one is it?
I think I have it here. This is the collector, and then you can configure it to whatever. Well, this is the. Perhaps this is the one that you share.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
right.
it's this one. Yeah, it's the collector. Here it is.
Check this last
Uh,
link. There's three Helm charts: collector chart, demo chart, and operator chart. Which ones?
I just used the. I can double check this, but as far as I remember, it was the open telemetry collector. Just that one.
and it also comes with Jaeger and the UI and everything.
Yeah, and the link I shared. You can add it with an agent.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So the documentation should be here.
But I can help you to set that one up. In fact, I'm using Kind for my development, so it's working quite straightforward.
Yeah, yes, it does. I mean, I've used Jaeger and open telemetry in the context of various captain use cases that I've tried. So that works really fine and without a problem in a kind environment.
Cool. So Mateus, you'll have to sort this out before we can merge the notification controller pull request.
I'll apply this
So-
in our internal process.
Yeah, it will be so we can actually test it on our own. But Adrian, please post all those print screens with us.
Yeah. Do you want me to add it in the RFC, I guess, right? Or
The
in the
print
pull
screens,
request?
no, on the pull request. Yeah.
Okay.
In the RFCs are only the use cases, right?
Okay.
We
I
don't
will
need
add
print
them
screens
as
there.
well. Yeah. Okay.
And in the pull request, yes, print screens around. I tested Git repo customization, Helm chart, Helm release, and OCI repo, Helm release, and this is how it looks with the custom metadata, so we can see if that gets properly set as attributes or whatever is called in there.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, we are on time. Thank you very much for bearing with us. And we hopefully will have tracing in Flux 2.7. I'm quite excited about it. Cool.
Yeah. Hopefully soon. Thank you for
Thank-
your advice and support.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice day. Bye.
Yeah, same to you.
See
Bye-bye.
you. Have a nice day.